Hello everybody, so Tuesdays are for curated conversations, one more artist, one more exciting artist, and today I have here with me Calina, Hiriza, that lucky for me live in Melbourne, the same town where the gallery is located, so she drive 5 minutes, and so I'm here for the interview. How are you doing, Calina?
I'm great, thank you for having me. Nice to see you as always.
Nice to see you, and as always, I like to have in the back the work of the artist. So we are going to talk later about these two different pieces that are here in the background. But let's start with the first question.
Okay.
How you became an artist?
Such a trip down memory lane. It started quite a few years back when I was about 11 years old. And we were at a crossroads in terms of schooling. Where do we go? You know, do I possess any hidden talents? And one of our family friends, who's a very renowned artist in my town, he did a couple of tests on me, made me draw some stuff, do some things, and he said, definitely this girl has talent. So my mom was happy. And just like that, I started going through a lot of schooling, a lot of classes, traditional training, and drawing and painting and sculpture, and I loved every minute of it.
So what was the beginning? Because with all of the artists that are in these curated conversations, there is always a style that evolves in another style and finishes in what we are going to talk later.
Yes, at 11, clearly we were not allowed to do anything like this. We had to work hard to achieve the right to go abstract.
Yeah.
So it was certainly your still lifes and your portraits and landscapes and learning the human form, etc., lighting, shadowing, that sort of thing. And over the years, my work has slowly transitioned towards the abstract, and it didn't happen all of a sudden. It happened slowly, you know, with some drips of paint in the beginning, with some more stylized portraiture, Jesus, perhaps. And eventually I felt like the materials and the different sort of sentiments that I was trying to express and elicit in myself and people looking at my work were not, I wasn't getting there with the figurative things. So I wanted to dive a little bit into the unknown, and the way to do that for myself was looking at the abstract, where you can really use the medium, use the color palette to express different emotions, different concepts around life and so forth. And here we are today, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah, and I know something very particular on you, that is the names of your paintings.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit, where are these names coming? I know the answer, but probably the people don't know.
Well, they come from my head, you know, my twisted, sometimes brain. And if I am to be honest, 100% honest, which people appreciate today.
This is about honesty.
Not always, but a lot of times, the name of the paintings, the work, or the resin work, such as this one, comes after it's finished. After it's finished, I sort of take in, I think about, you know, what the process has been, what are some of the steps that I took. I also engage, this might sound weird, but I do engage in a sort of dialogue with my pieces as I'm working on them. And of course, they don't talk back to me. I'm not at that level yet, but we talk. You know, I have an intention, and sometimes the piece likes the intention, and sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it does what you want, and sometimes not, and sometimes you like what it does, and sometimes etc. But we talk, and looking back, once the piece is finished, to where it ends up, to a place where it's good, it always, almost always gives me a name for it.
Well, but I know that some of the names, correct me if I'm wrong, are coming from things that you write.
Yes, I do a little bit of
Because Calina
writing.
is not only a painter, he's a writer too.
Well, you are very, very kind to say something like that. Not everybody would agree. It's more of my style is more a train of thought, so you know, it can certainly be easily judged by experts.
Okay, and now moving into your art. Here we have an example. And I know that you don't like it, but I'm going to give you my opinion or what I tell the clients when they are coming to the gallery. That for me, Calina right now is trying to translate the two-dimensional work into a three-dimensional work. So now you can correct me and tell me whatever you want about these two paintings.
No, I actually don't think there are any wrong things or any wrong or right interpretations of art, and that's one of the parts that I love the most, to kind of see what other people see. And for sure with abstract art, everybody tries to see something, because honestly, beyond, looking at the colors and liking the color palette or disliking it, or maybe the composition, what are the bigger areas, and perhaps the texture as well, you don't really know unless you speak with the artist what was in their head, what were they trying to create. So I think it's accurate. I think I'm still working on canvas, and I do enjoy it very much. But at some point, some of the pieces ended up having probably 5 to 10 layers, and they became so much more than just a canvas. They were starting to become three-dimensional, and then I also started saving my paint scraps, because I thought they looked so beautiful. When I was mixing the cups and then the paint would dry, I'd work in acrylic, and then it was very easy to peel it out, right? Because we're trying to preserve the earth, and reuse our tools and things. And they were really looking so beautiful. I just could not get myself to throw them out. And I have heard this from other artists. They all find them beautiful, right? So I ended up with a collection of them, nicely organized in Ziploc bags across like one of the walls in my studio. I didn't really know what...
Organize a studio?
Once a year I do organize my studio, yes. It doesn't last for very long, but I do try to do that. And I didn't really know how to use them. I did not want to just simply glue them on a canvas. I was looking for a medium that would allow them to really shine. Somehow after some research, I landed on resin, which I really love because you are able to layer things. So it became this sort of layering process, almost like this interesting collage, where these pieces of dry acrylic are embedded into the resin, layer by layer, and it creates this three-dimensional piece. There's thickness to this, and you can look at it from the sides and take a peek, and there's all these reflections on the different sides. Also, depending on how the light hits it, right? Like if the sun is moving, right? If it's in the basement and there's no windows, it's different. It stays the same. But if the sun hits it and it's here and then it travels to the other side, the shadows that these pieces that are in layers project onto the other layers and onto the wall, it's so interesting to me. I call it a moment of calculated discord. That's what every piece is. So you can say that to the clients from now on.
A moment of
Calculated discord.
Okay.
You're gonna have to write it down.
I will try to remember to make a note on the phone. So, these pieces take you to be selected by Saatchi Art to go to the other art fair.
Yes.
How did you feel about it when you realized that they select you to be in this art fair?
I was excited. It was the first time I was in the other art fair. I had heard a lot about it, but of course there's nothing like your own experience. And it was also the first time, at the same time, I think I went to the art fair first, and then you were able to get your hands on these little pieces. And I was very curious and a little bit nervous to see what the reaction would be, how the people were going to receive them. I had worked on them for over a year, and everybody loved them. I feel confident to say that everybody loved them. There was so much, everybody was mesmerized with the colors and the layering and the 3D aspect of them. And there was, I have things that are with blue and with green and yellows, and everyone is a little bit different. So there was a lot of interest and some sales too. So that was nice.
And not only the people like it, Saatchi Art continue liking it, because last week you were featured by the vice president of art advisor of Saatchi Art with this specific piece
that was very nice.
That the name is.
So the name, because we were talking about names,
Yeah.
the name of this piece is Mon Amour, I Found a Detour. And the reason why this is called that, potentially the color palette already takes you in that sort of relationship love area, right? With the pinks and the warmness of it. But I was actually thinking about how much all of us struggle, compromise in relationships in general, whether it's with a loved one, as this one hints, like Mon Amour. But we always try to make it work. And it's love and it's beautiful, but it becomes complex and it becomes a lot of give and take and a lot of compromising. And the funny thing is that you just never know when to stop. So it's a cycle that you keep going through. Because once you're in love with someone or you like someone, it's very hard to separate, even if things are not very good. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So because this is gonna be, I think that the fourth and the fifth curated conversation that I had with the artists, I wanna repeat again that there is not a script in this conversation.
No script, no.
Calina came here, we create our little bus and or booth, how do you say? Booth. Our little booth, and we start talking. So now I'm going to throw on you words,
Okay.
and you tell me what you think. The first word is goals.
Goals to have more time and be famous.
Okay, good. And the second one is going to be the totally opposite, struggle.
Time seems to be the same thing that comes to mind. Struggling to find time to do the things that you want to do versus the things that you have to do in life.
Happiness.
Having the time to just do what you want to do.
Okay, so struggles and happiness are the same on you. Interesting. Your most successful moment in the art?
My most successful moment in art, I don't think it has arrived yet, so I'm waiting for it.
Okay, so...
Still waiting. Sorry, Jesus,
Okay, so, and your worst moment being an artist?
Not having time to do my art and not having space to do my art and having to, and still needing to do it and basically opening a painter's cloth on my living room floor after everybody has gone to bed and being reprimanded for not picking it up by 8 a.m. in the morning because the colors were not dry yet, so I couldn't,
Yeah. Inspiration.
Inspiration is a beautiful thing. Outside of the regular stuff, nature and reading things and being subjected to new things, I really love human interaction and talking to people because every one of us is a little universe containing so much cool stuff, and by activating this interaction and exchange between two beings or more than two, you can be so inspired by other people and also be inspired by yourself, because other people sometimes find very interesting things within you that you're not really thinking about usually.
Yeah. Creativity.
Creativity without borders, that's what comes to mind. Without borders, that is, I think, almost every artist's goal, to create exactly what they want, when they want it, without any sort of guardrails of trends, of client, interior decor, things like that.
And then an easy one, your favorite tool.
My favorite tool? I would say my favorite tool is, it changes and it's different things. So found objects are tools that I like to use. I've used hair combs, hair dryers, pieces of plastic bags, when you think about creating textures and things like that, you know, I just look around, it's like, this rock is interesting. Let's see what happens if I, you know, rub it around the canvas a little bit. So, because brushes are brushes and we have them all. So.
Light.
Light is maybe inspiration. It makes me think about darkness immediately and the contrast between two and how fun it can be to be able to see opposite sides of the spectrum, you know, and then in between them there's so many different steps.
And the last one, color.
Color, my first love, you know, I love color. Maybe there's like one or two pieces that are a little bit more subdued because, like we're saying, contrast. I do like black. A lot of times I like the contrast of black and the sort of grounding aspect of it. But even when I try to do something a little bit more monotone, I'm having a really hard time because color just flows through me.
And I wanna ask you something tough. Are you ready? That is,
Am I ready?
why somebody should buy your art?
Well, if it is not obvious, when you look at it, I think my art can inspire. I think my art can make your day better. I think my art will not be boring 5 years from now when you will look at it again. I think there's an energy that I put in that people that can flow out of. I mean, we're getting a little bit like metaphysical here perhaps, but I do really believe that having aesthetic in your home that is not, you know, this sort of $50, and I know that's convenient sometimes, you know, but $50 flower vase from IKEA, let's say, you know, love IKEA, not to, you know, can really make a difference in people's lives. And not to mention there are actually medical studies that talk about the benefit of art, and there's all sorts of therapies that people do that involves art, because inside of ourselves we are all creatives, we're all artists, and some of them, you know, cook to manifest it or take care of others or paint. But my art is unique. I think everybody's art is unique. And if you cannot do it yourself, I would be more than happy to offer one of my pieces to have. And you would be supporting me as an artist to create more, because this is something that I cannot live without. That's kind of it.
So I think that I'm going to end the interviews giving you the chance to say something else.
Something else. What else to say other than thank you? I want everybody to know that working and finding, and I don't know who found who first, but let's say we found each other. Okay, he found me apparently. It has really been a pleasure and a really beautiful thing. And I know a lot of people, when they think about galleries and artists, they are conditioned to think that the relationship is a very transactional one. And a lot of people think, well, why can't I just buy from the artist directly, because the gallery is taking 40% or 50% or 60% even in some cases. And in some places it might be nice to buy maybe directly from the artist, but I do want everybody to know that the relationship that you have, not only with me, because I've seen it with everybody that you work with, is a very honest one, a sincere one, and we're really friends, and we have come together to help each other, you know, grow something in this community in Melbourne and the surrounding areas, and to make a difference with a thing that we know how to best do. And we're here, and if anybody wants to come in and, you know, talk to us and work with us, you don't have to come to the gallery just to buy art. just, you know, wash your eyes, you know, from a hard day at work, stop in, grab a coffee next door or at the local small shop or wherever you like to get your coffee from, and stop in and have a chat and support us when we have gallery events. We love to see you.
Yeah.
So no pressure, you know, and at some point we would love if you're able to bring something home with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important to make sales to continue supporting artists.
What you'd love to do, yeah. But it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, for sure. And in this case, the artists are local. Most of the artists are women.
Scott's gonna start getting upset hearing that.
Yeah, probably. We will see if
He's an honorary
we'll see
woman.
write any comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for looking interview. We hope that you enjoy it and learn a little bit more about Calina and her beautiful art. You can take a look on the website and find the paintings and new pieces that are available.